Hey guys, Patrick Wind here and welcome to this training model in which I'm going to show you the 14 automations recommended by the Facebook headquarters. So I'm here in the Facebook Business Advertiser Help Center and here with the title Common Ways to Use Automated Rules. They friendly present us 14 different ideas for very powerful automations that we can set up in our ad account and that will help us to improve our performance. So let's walk through all of them after this little intro, okay? So once again, automated rules, with them you can create rules that automatically check your campaigns, assets and ads and then update or only notify you of any changes. So in addition to running these automated checks and notifying you of any changes, the tool will take the necessary actions for you. As you get started setting up automated rules for your ad account, think about items you frequently check up and the subsequent actions you take in Ads Manager. So this is very important. So just before you set up automated rules, think about what you actually do on a day-to-day basis. So what do I really do? Do I turn off ad sets? Do I duplicate ad sets? Do I adjust bids? Do I increase budgets? What do I actually do in my day-to-day life when I optimize my campaigns? And then write them down. And then once you have defined what you actually do in your day-to-day life, when it comes to your Facebook ad account, then you can apply this in an automated way. So here are some examples. Do you, for example, pause a low-performing ad when it hits a specific metric? So, for example, if my cost per acquisition is higher than 100 euros and my cost per add to cart is also higher than 20 euros, for example, then pause it or turn it off. Do you increase your budget if a certain number of people click on your ad? So for example, if I got a cost per click of less than 10 cents, then increase the budget, for example, if I optimize for traffic. Or do you increase your bid if your total daily spend is below a certain amount? So if I'm in the branding industry and I want to spend at least 1,000 euros per day and I see that my ad set is much lower than that, well then increase my daily budget if the total daily spend is below a certain amount. Do you increase your budget based on your return on ad spend? So I think this is what everyone does. Okay, so if my ad set brings a good return on ad spend, then increase the budget. And this is of course something that we want to automate. But right now this is only possible with mobile app ROAS. But they're gonna roll it out very soon also for the normal ROAS. And this is of course super powerful for us. So if the ROAS is high, then increase spending. And do you turn off a specific campaign every Friday? For example, if you don't want to advertise on the weekend, for example, or you just want one specific ad set active on Monday, for example, that's the only way you can play around with daily budgets, because as you very well know, with lifetime budgets you can adjust the delivery schedule anyways. So with lifetime budgets you could say display every Monday or every Friday or every Thursday from 9 to 11 a.m. for example. But with daily budgets you cannot do that. With daily budget it's running all day long, every day of the week. But with the automated rules in combination with the daily budget, you could set up a campaign, ad set or ad that's only active on Friday, for example. And this is actually a very good idea, for example, if you have a specific copy or creative. So for example, ready for the weekend. Of course you do not want to have this active on Sunday, but you could set up an automated rule for one specific ad within different ad sets, and you can say this. So you have one ad set and you have several ads, okay, and one specific ad you only want to show on Friday, for example, and another one only on Sunday. So for example, on Friday, ready for the weekend, and then on Sunday you said, did you have a rough weekend, so on and so forth. So this is one idea you can play around with with this automated rule here. And here are some further examples that you can automate and which are based on the common ways that Facebook has actually studied how people use automated rules. And they actually brought us 14 of them. And I would like to walk you through all these important ones now. So one option, receive a notification. Get notified if you spend a certain percentage of your lifetime budget. So when you run a campaign, you'll set a daily or lifetime budget. Instead of manually checking how much of your budget you've spent, you can set the rule to be notified if you spend a certain percentage, for example, half of it. For example, if you set a lifetime budget of $400 for your campaign, but you'd like to be notified once you've spent half of that amount, you can set up a rule for that. And here are some introductions on how you can actually do that with a very nice images as well, and that's good. And I will definitely post the link to this Help Center article so you can really see all the detailed instructions on your own in much more detail. Okay, so that's one thing, receive a notification. Second thing, schedule ads. Turn ads on and off for a holiday promotion, for example. Say you're running ads for Valentine's Day, February 14, and you want your ads to automatically start a couple of days before Valentine's Day, February 10, for example, and then you want the ads to automatically turn off at the end of Valentine's Day, for example, at night on February 14. You can set up two rules to automatically turn the ads on and off for you. So, and here's also the exact instruction on how you can actually do that. So for the first rule, to set them up, to activate them, and the second one, to turn it off. What about the third rule? Turn ads off after a certain amount of delivery time. So if you set up a campaign that you only want to run for a specific amount of time, you can set the rule to automatically turn the campaign off a certain number of hours after creation. For example, if you run a campaign and you only want it to run for 5 hours, you can set the rule to turn it off automatically when it hits the 5-hour mark. And here is the step-by-step guide on actually how you do that. So now we're coming, after this very general tasks, now we're coming into the more performance-based tasks. So pausing ads, adjusting bits and bit schedule, and so on and so forth. So when should you pause an ad? Well, for example, pause an ad set if your cost per impression is greater than a certain amount. So if you're experimenting with different ads and want to stop running ads that don't perform well, you can set rules to turn off the ads for you if they hit a certain performance metric. For example, you can set a rule to automatically pause any ads with a cost per impression above $1, for example. Even though a CPM of $1 wouldn't be that bad, to be honest. But yeah. You can definitely do that if you want to focus it on CPM. A pause ad set if frequency is greater than a certain amount. So for example, they say if frequency exceeds 2. If it exceeds 2, I still think that it's not that bad. So I would rather set it to 5, 6, or 7, depending on your actual performance. What else can you do? You can set multiple conditions. Pause ad set if cost per website conversion is above a certain amount and website conversion are above a certain number. So that is a very good idea. That is what I've just recommended. So for example, you have the option to set multiple conversions. For example, you set up a Facebook pixel to track website conversions. Of course, we have done that. And specifically purchases made on your website, you can set a rule to pause your ads when the cost per website purchase is more than $10 and if the number is more than 500, for example. Or you could, so you see, very interesting, you can combine relative numbers, so cost per website conversion, and to combine this relative number also with an absolute number. So you can say, what if the cost per something is too high, and also the absolute volume is too low, for example. And here's how you can do it, and that's actually very important to see. And you see cost per website purchase and the actual purchase in total. So this is very good. This is something that I would strongly recommend, to have these multiple conditions in place. And also one of the multiple conditions that they recommend you to have in place anytime is the lifetime impressions. So this is per default there anyways, with over 8,000 lifetime impressions, because they recommend to do not apply those automated rules if you have less than 8,000 lifetime impressions. But this is set up anyways per default. So let's continue with adjusting bits and bit schedule. You could increase your bit if the total spend is below a certain amount. So that's what we have seen in the introduction. We could also increase your bit for specific hours of the day. This is something that's very interesting. Say for example, you're running an ad that you know will perform better in the evening. So you want to increase your bit by 20%. From 5:30 till 9:30 each night. So you can set the rule to automatically increase your bit for the specific set of hours. this is very interesting when we talk about the micro moments. So for example, every one of us knows that our Facebook ads perform the best in the morning before people go to work, during lunchtime, so before they have lunch and directly after they have lunch, and then when they go home after work, okay? So for example, the time from 5:30 to 9:30, if you're lucky and you can go home that early, then this will make a lot of sense to increase the bid to be more aggressive during this time period. And this is how you can do it. And then, very important, you need two rules for that, because on the one hand it will increase the bid at 5:30, but you also want another one that decreases the bid again at 9:30. So do not just set up the increasing one, but you also need to set up the decreasing one. So this is a very interesting strategy, okay? So to increase the bid for specific hours of the day. And what about scaling by target field? Another option is set a rule to adjust your bid or budget based on target KPI. For example, you can set a rule to scale your bid by a target field, such as cost per mobile app install, which means your manual bid will automatically adjust based on the current and target cost per app install. And this is of course also available for us when we optimize for cost per website purchase. So this is of course very good. And then the last ones that I would like to present to you is here. Increase budget if ROAS, okay, is above a certain amount. This is of course very important for us, but they only give us so far this mobile app purchase ROAS. But very soon they will also roll out the one for the normal website conversions, because it's going to be very powerful, and set rules based on campaign name. So as I said, you can apply them also to specific ones, for example, just the summer campaigns. You can also decrease your budget for specific days of the week. So for example, if you know that on the weekend, for example, Friday through Sunday, you want to spend less, then you can decrease your daily budget by 30% Friday to Sunday. This is of course also a very good idea to have lower budget on the weekend. This is something that I do with many of the companies I work with, to have lower budget on the weekends. Decrease your bid when a campaign has spent a certain ratio of your lifetime budget. So for example, you can set the rule to automatically decrease your lifetime budget by 25% once it has spent a certain amount of the lifetime budget. And then the last one that I would like to share with you here is increase the budget for a campaign if the cost per website conversion drops below a certain amount. So another rule you can set is to increase your budget based on the cost per website conversion. For example, you can set the rule to increase your lifetime budget by 20% if the cost per website conversion in, for example, content views is under $5. So that's the standard one that I basically always apply. So if my KPIs are good, then increase the budget, right? So guys, I hope you like this one as much as I did. And out of those very interesting ideas, the most advanced ones are definitely to increase your bids for specific hours of the day, and of course to decrease the budget for the weekend, and last but not least also to increase your budget for a specific campaign, etc. if the cost per website purchase, cost per add to cart, cost per view content, whatever, is very good. So guys, thank you very much for listening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next videos. Goodbye.